We're honoured to have His Lordship Bishop Richard Williamson celebrating Holy Mass this morning, my dear faithful. His Lordship, as you know, gave an excellent conference just 2 days ago on the subject of George Orwell's 1984 novel, as drawn from the BBC. As we said then, and quoting or paraphrasing Orwell from the novel, in times of universal deceit, it is a revolutionary act to speak the truth. His Lordship will give today's sermon with words of truth and wisdom, certainly in these times of universal deceit. His Lordship early tomorrow morning leaves for Italy for an official visitation to the country before returning in a few weeks' time to Argentina, where His Lordship is rector of our seminary at Loreja. Thanks to His Lordship for taking time, as always, to visit us here in England and to celebrate this Sunday morning's Mass for us. There will not be a catechism class after this Mass, as we're happy to have a baptism this morning, just following this Mass.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, Amen. I'm sorry that there is no skull cap, a little piece of, or no breast cross, a little piece of mismanagement on my part this morning. 1984, yes. Some of you were here Friday night, I'm certain, and a number of you were certainly not. Let me perhaps revise for our times, for our time, for people in general, for Catholics in particular, what may be the prime lesson of 1984. George Orwell, as said on Friday, was not a Catholic. He did not die a Catholic. There's no indication in 1984 that he had a grain of faith, even in God. God is almost completely absent from 1984. He has a mention when O'Brien, who is one of the key members of the inner party, says that power is God. In other words, God is a word that you use for the thing that you most venerate and respect. And in his case it's power. In the case of the party it's power. He uses the old language in order to express that power is the greatest and most wonderful thing. And therefore he says power is God. That's one mention. The other mention is that when O'Brien is in the process of torturing Winston, the hero of the novel, Winston says, "You're not going to succeed. The human spirit will always rise against you." Perfectly true. But O'Brien's answer is, "Do you believe in God?" he asks Winston on being tortured. And Winston says no. The implicit then is, if you don't believe in God, then God doesn't exist. If God doesn't exist, what human spirit are you talking about? What human spirit are you talking about? And then O'Brien proceeds to make Winston strip. He bashes him in the face and knocks out a few teeth. He's been very badly treated. He's very weakened. He yanks out a few tufts of his hair, then places him in front of a mirror and says, is this the human spirit you're counting on? And of course, Winston at that moment is a broken man, and the implication is the human spirit. There's no human spirit that the party cannot break. And that is sort of a lesson of the book, that seems to be the lesson of the book, that Orwell is presenting this horrid vision of a boot stamping on a human face forever. And that's, Orwell saw which way the modern world was going. He saw which way towards dictatorship, towards totalitarianism, towards brutality, all of these things. And he wanted to shock us all with this extension of what was already there in the 1940s. And so maybe George Orwell has more trust in the human spirit than is mentioned in the book. If he wrote the book, the very fact that he wrote the book is a certain rising up of the human spirit. But those are the only two mentions of God. Otherwise, God is completely absent. Like so often today, in so many things, he is just not on people's radar screen. It's incredible. It is incredible when you think about it. You remember, I think it's the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. O love, thou art not loved. I think that's St. Francis of Assisi. O love, thou art not loved. Very simple prayer. Very, very simple. And I think another prayer, maybe St. Francis of Sales, added to that. O love, thou art not loved. Would that thou wert loved. Give me only to love thee, and then do with me what thou wilt. And that's of course putting God first, where he belongs. But then, although God, the true God, is completely absent from 1984, as he is from so much of modern life in the modern world, nevertheless, George Orwell was an intelligent man, and he saw that even without God, he saw the basic issue, the basic point, is there anything